And welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we have a really quick and simple one for you. This is for deep-fried Brussels sprouts. A really interesting and delicious addition to your Thanksgiving Day meal if you're doing that this year. We'd also like to remind everyone that we have an affiliate link with Chef's Temp if you need a kitchen thermometer or a meat thermometer. Check out the link in the description below, and if you use code LOVEYOURFOOD on checkout, you'll get 15% off your purchase. But first, let's get on with the ingredients. So we have these beautiful Brussels sprouts. We're going to be using a shallot as well, some lemon juice, and some kind of hard cheese like a Parmesan or something like that we're just going to grate to give it a little bit of saltiness and a little bit of richness as well. So the first thing we're going to do, you want to cut just the bottom of the Brussels sprouts off. This makes it easier to peel those outside leaves off. And then you don't have to clean them as much because you're going to take most of the dirt off with those outside leaves. If you still see like clumps of dirt or anything, you might want to give them a little quick rinse. Don't worry about some mild discoloration on the leaves. We're going to cut these into quarters. Now this is going to give them a lot of surface area to get nice and fluffy in that hot oil because we want them to puff up a little bit and get nice and crispy. Now for the shallots, we're just going to cut these into basically little half moons. And we're going to leave them kind of stringy. We're not going to chop them finely. We're just going to leave them in sort of threads like this. And they are going to fry with the Brussels sprouts. They're all going to go in at the same time. And the Brussels sprouts take a little bit longer. And this will give the shallots enough time to get a little bit crispy. So we're just going to pop those into our deep fryer basket. You can see our deep fried turkey thigh from last week on the side there just resting. Now, there's a lot of liquid in both the shallots and the Brussels sprouts, so you definitely want to cover this. While those are cooking, we're going to grate our cheese. Now, we have a local sort of aged Gouda here called Mountain Oak, which is not really ideal for this. It was delicious, but it's not quite as dry as the Parmesan, so it sort of melted a little bit and just clumped up a bit. A Parmesan will not do that as easily. So we're going to take those out. You can see they're nice and brown. They've got a lot of nice color on them. They could have gone a little bit longer, actually. This is basically, they're just done here. A little bit longer, and they probably would have been a little bit crispier. And you can see they've opened up a little bit. The outside sort of leaves have gotten nice and crispy. We're going to add a little bit of salt to this. Now, you don't want to oversalt because the cheese is quite salty, especially if you're using a Parmesan. You don't want to oversalt this. Just let the cheese do some of the work for you there. We are going to add a little bit of black pepper here. And just give that a little toss with the lemon juice. And that lemon juice adds this really nice zing to this. The cheese is very unctuous. It's very rich, of course. That lemon juice just sort of brightens everything up and makes it really, really nice. And you can see some of those little bits of cheese have melted together and have kind of clumped up together a little bit. And like I said, it was delicious. Just make sure you're breaking those up before you serve it. And then we're just going to pop that on a side plate. It can go on the dish with whatever else you're serving. Really, really simple. It takes absolutely no time at all. No prep. You cut your shallots, cut your Brussels sprouts, drop them in the deep fryer for a little while until they get nice and crispy on the outside. Get that nice sort of brown caramelization on them, and you're done. That's it. If you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. We'd also like to thank our patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to support us on Patreon, I'll put a link in the description below for that as well. And remember to love your food.